going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner. I got to go bold, right? I got to go bold for this.
Yeah, she's got some nice long
Welcome back to
hair.
the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're out there on YouTube, and also rate the show 5 stars everywhere that you get your podcast. Happy Packers Week, Bears fans. How are we feeling out there? Do we feel good? And I got the poll going. FGB, right? That's the main moral of the story this week, because we got a lot to break down. Because this Packers team, I was looking at a lot of the stats, the analytics, and other pieces like that, and there was actually a weakness that the Bears could potentially exploit out of this Green Bay attack. So Ben Johnson, hopefully you're watching, or Declan Doyle, right? To kind of figure out, like, with this defense and with this offense of the Packers, there's a couple weak points that hopefully we can exploit. But Bears fans, how are we doing out there? FGB's in the chat, love it. Drax out here saying, yeah, I have picked against the Bears many times. Well, I picked for them last week, so I was correct with that. But yeah, oh man, yeah, there's been a couple times that I picked against them. But yeah, Taco Man, my bets have won. I usually actually have the Bears plus the points. So hopefully that ends up hitting, because they're like giving them like 7.5 points and everything like that. So let's get going. We got Drax out there. We got Taco Man. Let's start breaking down this Packers team. So like I said, this Packers team, it pains me to say that. Actually, before we get into this, I need to still give here we go, the tape review. I forgot because it was so long ago, because we won on Friday. And then I always like to kind of break down some of the tape that I watched, because we don't have our actual all 22 reviews that we used to do before YouTube started becoming super fun with their copyright and other things like that. So what I want to talk about is, for those that are new to the show, because I know that we got more viewers last week, just because, you know, when the Bears are good, everyone wants to watch and listen to more shows. So with this, the way I've been grading this, because I know that we all want to know about Caleb. So actually, before we get into Caleb, the defense, they were good. They weren't like elite or anything like that, which I feel like most of us were kind of knew that. But the thing that I want to call out too is that we ran a lot of dime defense last week. It was actually officially 35.1% of the time last week, which was the most, I believe, in the NFL this entire season. So it was kind of like what we were joking about with the pregame with the Eagles, where we'll be running a lot of dime because of getting Kyler Gordon and also CJ Gardner-Johnson. That's exactly what the Bears did. So I fully expect that. Defense was solid. Like they played well. But the Eagles just really, really were not good. But at the same time, Jalen, Kyler, they should both be a lot more healthy, and we'll break down the injury report next. Then the running game. I just want to hats off Ben Johnson, right? Shirts off to you, Ben Johnson. The system was incredible. And you see the running game, the way that they're blocking, the line is blocking like crazy. And also the running backs it was just a beautiful performance, because running backs were running through the people that were trying to tackle them, finding the holes. The blocking was amazing, but then also the scheme that Ben Johnson came up with. There was a film breakdown of this, and actually there's been multiple film breakdowns on this, where they had, like, DJ Moore was out wide. They brought him back in to being a fullback, and then they made Colson Loveland go from one side of the field to the other. And the reason why that's so great is because the Vic Fangio defense is about disguising different coverages, and it's very complex. So the more movement, the more motion that you have, the more that they're going to get thrown off. Now, the Bears wouldn't throw it. They then just ran it. But creating things like that really do cause a lot of commotion for a defense like that. So just brilliant all around. But now we get into Caleb, where Caleb, like, for those that don't know, the way that I grade it is I do above expectation, right? So just plus plays, like above what a normal quarterback should do. And then I just kind of have the middle ground, and then I have below expectation. So right now it was pretty dead even. I had 20 that I thought were at expectation, and then I had 10 above expectation, and then I had 10 below expectation. And the big thing about this game was on first watch, like live, I thought that he like missed some throws, and then when I was watching it, he actually only had 3 missed throws, which for his normal games is not that bad. The biggest thing was this was one of the first games that I felt like he was making a couple bad reads, which is something that is not necessarily it's not super familiar with someone like and here my computer just decided to kind of die out on me. So we'll see if okay, you guys can still hear me. Sweet. Yeah, my computer, all of a sudden, everything went dark. You might have seen just my face go darker on YouTube. But yeah, everything's fine. So with this, normally his reads are pretty good. Like he might shift off of reads. I jotted him down with 7 bad reads, which was the most that I ever saw on tape. I just felt like a lot of times he was sticking on one read, or there was a couple times where, and we've seen this with the system too, where he goes off of reads a little bit too early even, and then they're wide open. So it's usually on DJ Moore where you can tell that DJ Moore might have a step. DJ makes the move and then is wide open. Those were kind of the negative plays that I had, but the positive plays, I had 4 good throws that I jotted. So just like above average throws that he made. I said 2 great throws that I saw him make and 3 positive plays, which were all runs that he ended up taking on broken plays. So that's that escapability. Last week, or the week before the Eagles, when he was scrambling, they were not necessary. They didn't feel necessary. There was people open that he turned down and then scrambled. With these 3 scrambles, they were good runs. And this is, he had the escapability and also the speed to then make these big plays. So above average play, and then also had a very good read. He was like, went through one, went for a second. I thought it was good. So that's the thing. That is the big piece. And also, yes, Drex, I do remember that. I missed the all 22 reviews. I gotta come up with something. Because I know too, like when we start getting into the draft, which normally we'd be getting into the draft at this time. I loved it when we were watching even like college players too. So might have to do a, oh gosh, what is it called? Like a Patreon or something like that. And then have like a separate stream. But yeah, like I dreamt of those elite play callers, like what McVay had out there. But now we have one. People are open. And I think that's the biggest piece is Ben Johnson's great. And just the overall Caleb Williams game, you could definitely tell that Ben wanted it to be very simple, very quick, very easy. But also another takeaway that I had too, Colson Loveland is starting to become a legitimate, or actually not starting to become, he is a legitimate like first option in this offense that they're trying to already start to kind of exploit those mismatches. So it's a very exciting, very impressive thing to already start to see them leveraging him that way. So good stuff across the board. We'll kind of break down the passing a little bit more as we get into it. But first, we got to get into some injury impact to talk about who is going to be healthy and who's not. Now, we are recording this on Wednesday, and I feel like we haven't learned this yet as Bears fans. On Twitter, when this first injury report comes out, everyone's always like, this is the worst injury report we've ever seen. But it always feels like people did not participate on Wednesday, and then they participate on Thursday. And then we're like, okay. Everything's fine. So the people that kind of, some of the players that kind of raised some eyebrows was Rome Odunze and Kyle Monangai both showing up as did not participate on Wednesday. So a lot of people like, oh man, what's going on? But also too, the other thing too, they did not actually practice on Wednesday. So this is an estimate, but also they practiced on Tuesday. So it was kind of a weird thing. Why don't they and that's where I'm assuming they probably grabbed what happened on Tuesday and then threw it out here on Wednesday. But the big news, TJ Edwards limited. So most likely because of that hamstring, but yet again, he's probably going to be wearing that club on his hand, on his broken hand. So TJ Edwards looks like he's probably going to be back. So good stuff there. But then you get into Kyle and Rome. That's where I I still feel like they're going to be back. I think that they might just want to rest them a day. But that's where we've seen them out there. We've seen them playing. So to me, I expect them to be playing on when it comes to game day, because it always seems like this first day back, they try to rest them a little bit. And then Thursday, they get into limited. And then Friday, limited is probably what my guess is. Ruben Hippolyte, probably not going to play. Tyreek Stevenson, probably not going to play, but don't necessarily need them this week. But Jalen Johnson, full participant, and also Kyler Gordon, not even on the report. So that's a good sign, kind of showing that he's probably going to be fully healthy. Yet again, more so hinting towards that, that true dime defense that we're going to be seeing out there. And also Noah Sewell with an elbow injury, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But then the Packers, not giving us a pretty little report, so I have to shift over to my other mode. But with the Packers, what we have with this is, let's see, did not participate. Lucas Van Ness didn't participate with the foot injury. Devontae Wyatt did not participate, but he's going to be out for the season. A pretty good pass rushing defensive tackle that they have. And Savion Williams, their rookie wide receiver, did not participate either. So Van Ness might be the person that you kind of watch out for. And maybe even like Quay Walker. Quay Walker's been out. And to be honest with you, Quay Walker, when he's out there, has not been very good. So kind of hope that he ends up playing. Carl Brooks, who's their other defensive tackle, a little bit limited today. Baron Sorrell, a little bit limited. And Colin Oliver, limited. So a lot of people limited for the Green Bay Packers. And also, too, Matthew Golden, their rookie wide receiver, who Caleb Williams has more touchdowns than, it was limited as well with the wrist injury. So, yeah, this list is huge. And it's just because a lot of their players were limited with a lot of different injuries, but really the ones that also, too, Zach Tom limited, but I kind of expect him to be out there for the Packers. So now, the Green Bay Packers, I got to say, and it pains me to say this, but they have a good team. They really do. And there's a reason why that a lot of people expected them to be like Super Bowl favorites as soon as they got Micah Parsons. And we'll talk about this. But when you look at it, like the Football Power Index has the Bears as the 18th best team, the Packers as the 3rd. DVOA has the Bears as the 19th best team, and the Packers as the 5th. And then the Football Power Index also says on a neutral field, the Bears should be 6-point underdogs. So not a lot of love for our beloved Chicago Bears in a lot of these rating systems, but that's where the heart comes in. That's where the coaching comes in. And that's where this is going to be a difficult game. And I don't know about the rest of y'all. If you have Packer fan friends, many of you know I live in Wisconsin, so a lot of my friends are Packer fans. And I got to say, I think that they're nervous. And I think that's what's like kind of cool is normally when we have these exchanges or friendly discussions, friendly banter among like my friends and I, it's usually like big brother, little brother. Like, oh, it's okay. Like, oh, look at that. You guys are good. You guys are winning some games. Look at you guys, right? But this now feels like they're a little bit more aggressive with it. Like they're more like, no, man, you guys suck. No, you guys, and you even see this with the shows, the radio shows in Milwaukee, in Green Bay. They're getting a lot more aggressive, which to me means that the little brother is finally catching up or caught up to the big brother. And now they're a little bit intimidated by the Bears. So I'm hoping that it's good, but I can tell you it's going to be claws out for them. They're like, the fans are pissed. Like the state of Wisconsin, they're a little bit pissed at us just because of all the fun we're having as Bears fans. So out in Green Bay, it's going to be a little bit crazy to say the least, but actually I'm going to load up some of the Bears stuff real quick. So now let's get into this Bears offense versus this defense. So the Bears offense, it has been solid. And the biggest thing with this offense is if you look at their blocking, this has been one of the biggest things that has really kind of launched this Chicago Bears team. So let me pull up the graphic for everyone. So this Bears offensive line, the entire offensive line besides the left tackle are all in top 10 according to ESPN with their advanced metrics in pass block win rate. The entire offensive line, minus the left tackle, because maybe they don't qualify, right? But this is, whether you look at ESPN ratings, whether you look at PFF grades, whatever it is, the Bears line is good. And it feels so good that this offensive line is just great. And even just watching the tape, Drew Dahlman, I gave him the game ball, and I continue to, after watching them, it furthered, confirmed it. Drew Dahlman had a phenomenal game going against some great defensive tackles out there. Did great in the pass game, did great in the run. This is going to be a very good offensive line, and they're going against a very good defensive line for this Green Bay Packer defensive front. Now, like I said, that defensive tackle spot is a little bit weak, but when you look at them, the Packers overall, Micah Parsons is number 2 according to ESPN in pass rush win rate, and he's primarily, they'll move him all over the place, but I could see him really kind of lining up over our left tackle, Ozzie Trapillo, the rookie. Also, Rashawn Gary, number 9 in run stop win rate, but also, too, if you look at this defense overall, just a handful of stats, they're 10th in pressure rate, 3rd lowest blitz percentage, so they can really just get you with Gary and Parsons, or just Parsons because he's just that good. They're 15th in passing expected points and 18th in EPA per pass, 5th in rushing for rushing EXP, and 4th in EPA per rush, and averaging about 3.9 per rush. So, a couple things. They're about mid when you talk about just their overall pass defense. And when you look at it, they have Keyshawn Nixon, who's just been a, kind of middle-of-the-road corner. You got Valentine, middle-of-the-road corner, and Bullard, middle-of-the-road corner. But they're all starting caliber players. And then you have Evan Williams, their safety, and Xavier McKinney. Edgerrin Cooper has been a good linebacker for them. And then Trent McDuffie has come in for Quay Walker. And I jokingly said, Quay Walker's not that good. And so that's why I'm hoping Quay Walker's good, because McDuffie, in a small sample size, has played very well. He's actually PFF's 8th highest graded linebacker. McDuffie's been playing great. But Quay Walker, I hope he's out there, because the guy's not good. So I'd rather have Quay Walker out there than Isaiah McDuffie, as crazy as that might sound. But really, just the passing game. This is going to be a big game for Caleb Williams. But the other piece, too, is that this is the main thing, that when we're talking about the weakness of the Packers, this is a good run defense you're going against. Top 5 in multiple metrics, 3.9 yards per rush, right? Like we talked about. And when you look at this, too, they are 5th in EPA on outside rushes. So very, very good at stopping the rush outside. But 27th in EPA given up per rush on the inside. So if you're looking at how to exploit them and how to take advantage of this team, look at the inside of this defense. Rashawn Gary is a good run stuffer. He's a big defensive end. He's able to kind of set that edge, and he's very good at that. And then on the other side, you have Micah Parsons. And if Micah Parsons is playing in the middle, you feel good about your big boys trying to push him around. So when you're looking at how to attack this team, inside rushes, that's why if I'm Ben Johnson, I'm giving the ball to Kyle Monangai. Monangai is more prone to just run it up the gut rather than Swift. Like we all know, Swift likes to break out some of those the big plays to the outside. And like Taco Man said, it's Kyle time. That's where you can attack them. Because who do they have in the middle? Devontae Wyatt is out. So they have Nazir Stackhouse, Carl Brooks, who Carl Brooks has always been kind of that tweener. He's pretty good against with some pass rush pieces. He's actually 17th in PFF's pass rush win rate. But Colby Wooten, Carl Brooks, Nazir Stackhouse, who just sounds like a basketball player. Those are a lot of the different players that they have in this interior. Without Kenny Clark, without Devontae Wyatt, the inside is very, very weak. Do not try to run it to the outside. Try to just hammer them home up in the middle. We have one of the best, if not the best, interior of the offensive line. Jonah Jackson does not look like Jonah Jackson out there. Jonah Jackson is playing phenomenally. If you want to run the football, you can. It's just up the gut, just to attack them. That's how you can impose their will, not just by the outside runs, by pounding them right in the face, right up the middle. That is one of the ways that you can attack. So outside runs, not going to go great. Just try and focus on more stuff up the middle. Other pieces too, just overall with this, just overall attack. This is also a team that is 21st in EPA when you're targeting the middle of the field. So even though that they have some pretty good linebackers, they're still susceptible in the middle of the field. So look for attacks down the middle of the field for the Bears too, since they seem to be very susceptible out there. Then also too, short. They're 14th in passing in EPA for passing plays. Short, 32nd intermediate, and 6th best deep. So what does that mean? It means that if you want to try and find a great spot to attack them, intermediate, smack dab in the middle. That's the spot to attack. So really, yeah, Eagles game. It's just run up the middle and then pass up the middle. So to me, look at Colston Loveland, look at players like that can kind of attack that middle of the field and get the ball in their hands and try to attack them that way. And also too, big game for Caleb Williams. This is going to be a big prove it game for Caleb, and you're going to be in the cold. Caleb, as Ben Johnson said, Ben Johnson, he didn't mean to call out Caleb. Like sometimes just different words come out, but he wasn't lying. He did kind of call him out and was like, well, the passing game just hasn't gone well, right? And I don't have the exact quote, but like I've been saying on this show for the past handful of weeks, it's really been this running game, and the passing game hasn't necessarily shouldered the load. Like Caleb's movement, breaking out of the sacks, doing plays like that has been really what he's been doing. He hasn't necessarily been winning the games with his arm. So to me, that is going to be big. That's going to be like what Taco Man said. He makes that crazy pass to Kmet, lobs it up, like beautiful, beautiful pass. That was one of my great throws that I jotted down, just a beautiful dime, windy, great throw. But yeah, the easy stuff, that's the stuff that he's going to hit. It's going to be cold in Green Bay. You're going to have to pass it and just try and get some success. So really when you're looking at this too, Loveland, Burden, now we just need Odunze and Moore. Just get on the same page. Still seems off with Caleb and Moore. Something's off with Caleb and Odunze, but Burden, Loveland, some great stuff there. Maybe even get some of the running backs involved too, if you want to try and get something a little bit just to kind of pull some of the linebackers back. But middle of the field, attack it, and middle of the defense, attack it as well. So now, what is the offensive matchup that we are most looking forward to, that we think is the key to the game? And also, let me also look up the Green Bay weather. Green Bay weather. So let me know, what offensive matchup are you looking forward to the most? So Green Bay weather, it's going to be snowing on Friday. Sunday in the morning, it's going to be -1, and then it's going to be a high of 17. So cold. So it's going to be cold, as we know. Winds only 7 miles per hour. So nothing crazy. Light breeze. Nothing bad from that side. But yeah, expect it to be cold. But yeah. So offensive matchup that I'm watching out for. Now, I'm going to go with the easy one. I'm going to go with the easy one. It's going to be Micah Parsons versus Ozzie Trapillo. It's, when you look at Micah Parsons, that is this defense, or that is like the heart and soul of this defense. And he was just at it. And I'll go back to when the Bears had, when we added Khalil Mack. When you have that difference maker, that true alpha dog, that is one of the best defensive players in the league, the perennial defensive player of the year conversations. I still remember when we got Khalil Mack, and you just saw the difference that he's able to make. The rate at which that caliber of player wins is just insane. So you're going to have to try and stop him. You're going to have to try and nudge him. It's going to be him. It's going to be with Cole Kmet. It's just going to be that little bit of help, because watching Ozzy's been good. Don't get me wrong. Ozzy's been good, but but he's not been like, or he's been like okay, which I agree with the PFF grade where they have him 43rd out of 80 offensive tackles, where like that feels about right. Like yet again, he's a rookie. So the fact that he's doing this is incredibly impressive. Like, we got to give Ozzy Trapillo some flowers, especially since he's gone against the Eagles and, like he's gone against very, very tough competition, the Steelers, and he's been able to do stuff like this. So now he's going against Micah Parsons, and then the next week he's going against Myles Garrett, and then he's going against Micah Parsons again. So he's just baptism by fire, just being tossed to the wolves, and he's held up pretty decently. So I think you're going to see a lot of chips from him, but really, hopefully he can kind of hold up. But that is going to be my matchup to watch out for. Nothing amazing, but he's going to be a big time matchup. And if I'm looking at like an X factor, someone to kind of transform the game, I'm looking at Luther Burden. Luther Burden to me is the X factor. He's always the X factor because the way that you can move him around in different packages, the fire that man plays with too. Luther Burden to me is that X factor because, and especially with him in the slot, he can kind of like, yet again, kind of get open in that middle of the field and try to make something happen down there. Or heck, even with like a Rome Odunze. But Luther Burden to me, I could see them trying to get a little bit creative with him like they did last week against a good defense. So, yeah, and I agree with Taco Man though too. We need more DJ. DJ right now he feels like a primary trade target. Like he just seems like he's going to be someone that we just kind of ship off. Like that's what it feels like. It feels like DJ is going to be gone next year. Just with the way that, just the lack of utilization, the lack of chemistry that he's had with Caleb last year and now this year. And then also too, just with trying to save some money, I could see him being someone that the Bears at least look to trade and just try to get a fresh start if it doesn't shape up any better. Because right now it looks off, and when you're paying someone that much money as your number one wide receiver and he's not playing as great, like Luther Burden's been playing better, Dunze's been playing, but yeah, that's why, yeah. The whole extension, I did scratch my head. I did know that he was making less, like he was making only like $16 million a year. So I think that Poles just wanted to do what was right and just kind of give him some extra money. But yeah, he gave him that before he saw how he played with Caleb, and just, it has been good with Caleb. Ever since that extension, everything's been downhill with the way that he's been playing. But now let's kind of talk about this Packers offense versus this Bears defense, where this is harder to kind of dissect. Not gonna lie, ladies and gentlemen. Because this Packers defense, this Packers offense is good. I hate to say it. When you look at it, Jordan Love, he's third in QBR. He's the third highest graded passer according to PFF. So ESPN loves him, and PFF loves him. He's number one in EPA per dropback, so EPA loves him. He's number one with clean passer rating, and he's also PFF's second highest graded when it comes down to clean passer rating. He's number 6 of passer rating when pressured, but PFF has him graded as the number 18th best quarterback. So don't necessarily think that's a big time, hey, like red flag. But this entire offense, number 1 EPA per pass, and number 15 EPA per run. So really, just this passing attack has been great. And really, when it comes down to pass blocking, Zach Tom is 11th in pass block win rate according to ESPN, and Rasheed Walker 13th in pass block win rate on the other side. So when you're looking at this and you're looking to what can you do, it's the interior of this line. Sean Ryan, he's a guard that's now playing center, and he's never really played center before. And now he's played center for I think a couple games now. And then Aaron Banks, one of the worst signings. I remember laughing at that, just the amount that they paid him, and he hasn't been a great guard. He has not been good this year. And Anthony Belton, their rookie, starting at right guard, who is their right tackle that they were going to have out there, shifted him to right guard. He's been bad. And if you're looking at how to attack this team, it's up the middle. Now, we need a big game from Javon, Grady Jarrett. Now, they haven't necessarily shown up. Javon has at least shown up in some of the passing, the the pass rush snaps and kind of get some pressure on the quarterback. But we really, really need a big game up the middle, because when Jordan Love is pressured, then yeah, like that's how you can kind of get to him. 18th, like we said, 18th graded quarterback when pressured. But also when I see this as well, they have the 15th EPA when pressured. So yet again, you have to get to him. But they have the number 2 blitz EPA. So when you blitz them, Jordan Love has been very, very good. Number 1 non-blitz EPA as well. So the key of the game is you have to get to him without sending all these crazy blitzes. You have to get to him up the middle. Like, it can't just be Montez Sweat. Austin Booker, we're kind of hoping a little bit more. He's still been good, right? But he's at least been kind of showing like he's kind of a solid backup to have out there. But up the middle, you gotta get some pressure from actual defensive linemen, not just your defensive backs flying in on the outside. Because I guarantee you, LaFleur is looking at that going, they're only going to get pressure with you with these defensive backs. That's what's going to happen. So you're really going to have to win your battles up the middle. Heck, put Kyler Gordon at defensive tackle. Let's see how that rolls. But that's the main pieces that I want to talk about, because this passing attack has been very, very good for the Packers. Christian Watson, PFF's 9th highest graded wide receiver. Dontavian Wicks, 31st. Romeo Doubs, 58th. So yes, everyone says they don't have an alpha wide receiver. But the thing that I respect the Packers for at least doing is they just add these wide receivers, and they just keep adding wide receivers, and these wide receivers have been playing well. And when you have all these number 2 wide receivers, it becomes difficult for a defense to know who do you focus on it, because they can switch it up at any week. Kind of similar to what the Bears have been able to do with some of their wide receivers, but I'd say that they're better. But this also kind of goes into when we flip over with the Bears defense, Jalen Johnson being back, Kyler Gordon being back. We still have CJ Gardner-Johnson out there and Nashawn Wright. So by having these defensive backs, I'm hoping that we can match up pretty darn well with some of their wide receivers too. And yet again, CJ Gardner-Johnson was out there for every single snap. So it'll be really intriguing because Kyler Gordon hasn't been on the injury report. What types of matchups do they start throwing out there? Do they put Kyler a little bit on the outside, right? I don't think they do. I think that they just play a lot more dime and they try to kind of stick with that. But it'll be really intriguing to see what they dial up, since, you're still going to be a little bit weak at the linebacker position. Even with TJ Edwards out there, he's coming back from a hamstring injury. He's going to have a club on. He's not going to be 100%. And also too, I think that DeMarco Jackson should be the other starting linebacker outside of Noah Sewell, besides Noah Sewell, or not Noah Sewell. I want DeMarco Jackson, because Noah Sewell, great in the run game, yet again, should be your Sam linebackers, mainly on running downs. But when it comes down to passing, he has actually the worst passing grade according to PFF, and tape backs it up. Noah Sewell, not good in pass coverage, but someone that's very, very good in run stopping. And also Taco Man saying why McLeod was on AJ. Yeah. And that's where it is. Have your defensive backs out there, those corners. That's going to be the big piece. Then we got Oracle saying Love has been playing very well. Yeah, when he's not pressured. Yeah, that's going to be the piece. You got to get pressure on him. You got to get something. Javon's going to be I'm actually just going to dive right into this. My matchup to watch out for. The matchup that we need to see is Gervon Dexter versus Anthony Belton. Gervon Dexter and Grady Jarrett versus this interior of their line, because it's not good. And quite frankly, you need to pressure them. You need to get right up in their face and make Jordan Love uncomfortable. You can't be relying on your slot corners to be your number 1 pressure people. And Zach Tom is good. And Zach Tom's going to be going against Montez Sweat. Zach Tom is a very good right tackle in this league. Very good pass protector. So, yeah, Sweat's going to have his hands full. So, people up the middle. Grady Jarrett, you're getting paid a whole bunch of money. You're getting paid Dayo Adengbo money, man. You got to get some pressures, not look like Dayo Adengbo. So, hopefully we can generate some pressures up the middle with that defensive tackle group. Now, I haven't even talked about this rushing attack. They do have Josh Jacobs. He should be back for this game. He was back last week as well. And when you look at how they play, they run a lot of play action just like us. They also run a lot of RPOs. So it's a very easy system. RPOs, play action, but also too, when they run the football, it hasn't been great. Like we were kind of talking about, 15th EPA per run. The running game has not been as clicking as much as it normally has been. And the big reason is the blocking. Blocking is so key when it comes down to a running game, because they have the 4th worst yards before contact at 1.9 yards. So people are able to penetrate. People are able to kind of get to the quarterback. Get to the running back. But also just looking at other pieces too. Number 3 in short pass EPA, number 3 in intermediate pass EPA, and number 12 in deep pass EPA. Other pieces too, just looking. And this is kind of funny too. More stress on the defensive tackles as well. Why? It's kind of funny how this all works out. The Packers are 27th in outside rush EPA, but 8th in inside rush EPA. So for some reason, I would think that they would want to run to the outside because of the tackles that they have, but the inside rush has been more successful for them. This is a big game for our defensive tackles, big game up the middle on offense and on defense. That is going to be the main keys to watch out for. So now let's kind of turn to the comments. Oracle of Hallis saying, remember when we drafted Zachary Thomas instead of Zach Tom? I agree. Zach Tom, like, the big thing is, like, there's always these handful of players that are coming out that, like, I feel YouTube and other, like, the YouTube scouts and stuff like that, like people like myself too, go, man, that's a really good player. Zach Tom was one of those where everyone was like, man, Zach Tom is good. And what do you know? Zach Tom ends up being really good and goes in like the 4th or 5th round too. So yeah, that's the big thing. And yeah, with TJ Edwards, that's a good point, Drax. With TJ Edwards, hopefully we're able to stop them a lot more. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, Zachary Thomas. I agree with Ampharius. Like, I think Zachary Thomas win in like the 6th, but still, it's kind of like, did y'all ever hear like there was 2 Byron Youngs coming out, one out of Alabama, one out of, oh gosh, I forgot, Tennessee. Byron Young out of Tennessee, I really liked. He was this like pass rush specialist, and supposedly the Raiders chose the wrong Byron Young and they drafted the Alabama one rather than the one that went to the Rams. So they got this crappier version out of Alabama. He ends up not being good. Rams get the good one from Tennessee. He ends up going off. So yeah. Let's see. Broski saying, what up? What is good, Broski? Yeah, weird poll. Nah, man, FGB. FGB or FGB? Here, I'll end it. I'll end it right now because yeah, the polls say F Green Bay indeed. So now let's go into the extra pieces. Let's talk about the special teams review, where quite frankly, I just hope that we continue kind of doing the same exact stuff that we just, I put FBG. Did I? Oh yeah, I did FBG. My bad. Hey, I got the FGBs for the other ones. But anyways, yeah, F the Bay of Green. But yeah, special teams review. I just hope that they keep doing what they're doing. They're looking really good. And like I've said before, credit to Hightower. It's taken 10 weeks, but hey, we're in playoff mode. Hopefully that ends up going well. And we just kind of continue to kind of keep moving on with the special teams and just having it look good. But now we got to talk about who has the edge for the Chicago Bears. So if we look at this Bears offense versus this Packers defense, I think that the Bears have to attack the pass, but I feel like we just haven't done a great job in recent weeks against passing the football. So unfortunately, I have to give it to Green Bay, but I'm going to give the edge to our running game. Even though this Packers run defense is great, I think that what we're seeing with Ben Johnson, and he admitted it, he should have actually ran the ball more last week than he actually ended up doing. He passed a little bit too much. But I'm giving it to the Bears because, yet again, they are weak up the middle. They should be able to figure that out. They should be able to attack up the middle, and we should be able to get yards as long as we commit to that. Yet again, it's very easy for someone like myself to say that behind a microphone and not actually implement it, but just simply use my words and say, yeah, this is how you do it. But with Devontae Wyatt going down, I think that the Bears have a great chance in the way that Ben Johnson can scheme up the run game. I think that they can do a lot up the middle and try to attack that. So I'm going to give the edge to the Bears there. And now we flip over to the defense. I'm giving the edge to the Packers passing attack. It's been phenomenal. It's been great. This Bears passing defense has not been great. And yet again, we have to attack up the middle. And then we go over to this run defense versus this running attack for the Packers. And I'll give us a slight little edge just with TJ Edwards coming back. And I think that we're going to be feisty up the middle. I'm going to give us a slight little edge there. So let's get into the big piece. Game predictions. Bears fans, let me know your game predictions and let me know your bold prediction down in the chat. What do you think? So let's see. We got Cole saying Packers are winning this by 7 as a Pats fan. Nah, come on, Cole. And then we got Chicago Best. We got Bears. What is good? Bear down. Drax saying Ben Johnson versus Matt LaFleur. Winner takes all. Yeah, so let me see. What do you have for your score predictions? Now, I said this before. This is going to be a very, very hard fought game. The Bears are riding high. And this is where, like you would say, trap game. But what I feel like we've seen with Ben Johnson is Ben Johnson is able to get his guys back on track and say, we have a big game, right? Eye on the prize. So I think that he's going to try to get us focused. And I think too, like I said, the thing that gets me nervous is this Packers team. They want to stick it to us. Like it feels like the Lions a little bit where they want to stick it to us. So that's where I get nervous. That's where I get nervous about this game. And it's at Lambeau Field. And I told you the Packer fans are going to be ticked off. But here's the thing. And I've said this time and time again whenever the Bears play the Packers, and I say the Bears have to show me that they can beat the Packers, and then I'll choose them. The Bears have to show me they can beat the Packers, and then I'll choose them. Guess what? The Bears beat the Packers in 2025. That's where the big thing is. I cannot choose the Packers right now because we need to win this game. We have to shut them up. I can't not choose our Chicago Bears. So I'm saying the Bears win. Let's go 27-20, or I'll go 31-28, or let's see, 31-27. Bears win. Let's go. I think it's going to be close, and we have to beat them. That's the thing. I can't choose against the Bears right now. With everything that's going on, there should not be a Bears host out there that chooses against the Bears. Because, like, for what's going on with where the Bears are at, with what they're trying to do, like, even if you believe that the Packers would win, you can't choose them. You have to choose the Bears. Bears win 31-27. Or, you know what, 31-30. We're going to go with that. So, close game. Bears end up pulling this out. Big time win. Let's go. So now, Cole's got the Packers. Hey, I get it. And Drax got the Bears 33, Packers 24. Taco Man, Bears 27, 16. Bears 24-20 is Broski's score. But now, what is the bold prediction? Because, like I'm saying, if the Bears want to win this game, they have to attack up the middle. They have to play big. So I'm going to parlay my bold prediction if I can. I'm going to say Monangai gets back-to-back 100 yards. Actually, that is a bold prediction. So I'm going to say that. Kyle Monangai back-to-back 100-yard games. Like I said, you have to attack up the middle, and there's one guy, the Monangai, that you can attack up that middle and just put the fear of God in this Green Bay team And quite frankly, too, he's gone against Wisconsin. Wisconsin knows this running back very, very well as the guy that just, attacks with the cold weather. Ride Monangai, have him be popping them. That's the thing that you have to see. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go Monangai 100 yards. Taco Mans is with Caleb with 5 TDs. Man, we got to get, I think that Caleb, that would be great. If Caleb can do something with this too, because I feel like Caleb's got to know that this is the rivalry game. This is where you have to step up, and he did last time. So, yeah, we got Inferius saying Rome 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. I love that. Yeah, Bears running all day, and Drax's bold prediction is the Bears 40, Packers 16. Let's go. Oh, man. Big game. So hopefully we're not sad, depressed when we're talking on Sunday. But hey, we'll be live at 7:30 to recap the Chicago Bears versus the Green Bay Packers. So make sure to hit that like button, subscribe out there on YouTube, and we'll have you covered with all Chicago Bears things. And with that, Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair, and you know that she's a bad